Really good afternoon. Thank you so much again for joining us at net.Share 2023. It's a pleasure to have you all. Today and right now, we're going to be discussing NETCB's GroupWise video conferencing add-on technology. I'm not going to take too long in my presentation. It's just going to be a short, brief 10-minute slide deck. And then I'm going to hand over to Bongani because, as they say, the demonstration, or should I say the juice, of course, is in the demonstration. So swiftly moving on. Some of you may not be aware of our GroupWise video conferencing solution, so there's going to be an overview, most particularly for newcomers, and a lot of interesting information around the roadmap for those that are aware of it and that have evaluated it and or are using it. Then a very, very cool announcement about Get Meeting. I'm not going to say anything more right now. Then we'll go into just covering the basics of the licensing model. We'll talk a little bit about how you can apply for the evaluation versions and the procedures, just so everyone's aware of that. Then we'll talk a little bit about the support and enhancement requests and some of the most common support issues that we experience, just really to help yourselves if you do want to evaluate the solution or you're having trouble implementing it. And then we'll move on to the demo and the Q&A. Bongani, if you wouldn't mind just opening up the Q&A tab right now, I would appreciate that before you get started, in case there are any questions. And as well as a sneak preview of our exciting new version 2.0 in the demo. So, the overview. What is the actual technology? What does it do for you? And how can it help you? In a nutshell, what we've done is we've given you the ability, okay, to schedule meetings directly from within GroupWise using the app that can be launched from within your GroupWise Windows client that enables you then to populate your appointments with the appropriate information and links in regards to virtual conference meetings using any one of the following platforms, whether it's GoTo Meeting, Jitsi, MS Teams, Zoom, or WebEx at current. We also have pretty much finished our development phase around Google Meet, although that's going through the verification stage at the moment. So essentially, if you've got pressure in your organization or you've got questions around, well, why aren't you using the Outlook client with Exchange? Because they all have plugins for these various video conferencing systems, which, by the way, are separate plugins, not one plugin. This is a single plugin. When compared to the Outlook client, here's the answer to your question. So very, very sleek tool. And I think it's something that a lot of GroupWise users specifically have been asking for quite some time. So moving on, just in terms of the current release, I'm not going to get through every single one of these bullet points, otherwise we're going to run over time. But I think what's important to note over here is things such as now there's multi-language support in terms of our translation. Also, very importantly, this was a highly requested feature, is that GoTo Meeting has what they call an auto password generation when you go and schedule a meeting, assuming you're doing it from their video conferencing platform. This is now integrated completely into the GWVC technology and our add-on. So that's not a problem anymore. It's automatically populated when you send out that meeting request. And things such as the dashboard items are now nicely sorted from an alphabetical perspective. There were also a number of bug fixes in terms of bug requests that we got, or enhancement requests to our support team. And also not going to run through all of those, but I think what I'd like to highlight is the one right at the bottom, which is that the app can now be installed on multiple workstations through the silent installer. Okay, so you can use a technology such as ZenWorks from OpenText, if you have that in place, to actually implement it from a central point to all of your users, or any other resource management application that you might have in place to do build centralized images and deploy them to your end users. Some of the most common support issues that we get, and I think the top one is probably the most common one. So when you are doing your Teams configuration within your Azure application registration portal and process, it's very important to note that you need to select the desktop option and not the web option. That's actually a common mistake that's made across the board. And that's one of the reasons that users and organizations that are trying to test and evaluate our solution struggle. So just bear that in mind, please. However, we are always open. You can email support@netcb.com at any time if you get stuck, and we can help you and handhold you through that process. Also, very importantly, you need to know that all of your end users who are going to be utilizing this tool, this technology, need to have at minimum an MS Teams Essentials subscription. You don't need to have a Windows 365 or Microsoft 365 E1 or higher subscription, but you must have at minimum a Teams Essentials subscription. Unfortunately, Microsoft once again, in all their wisdom, decided to terminate the Teams Exploratory free license as of April this year. So that's really something that's out of our hands. Another common problem is we find that organizations that actually request a trial license, it's a 30-day trial license that can be extended if necessary, on the registration form that you complete on our website, the email address that they use is not the same email address that they use when they go and actually register their account after the fact. Those need to match, very importantly. And then the final common issue is that what this tool does is it actually automatically recreates a configuration file or a number of configuration files in your hidden app data folder. That's on your local folder on your Windows drive, which is your user profile. In my case, it would be Justin or Justin Foxcroft, etc. And when users try to implement new versions or updates, okay, sometimes they don't launch correctly and something goes wrong. It's important to note that what you need to do is first rather go and uninstall the older version, okay, and very importantly, go and delete that app data folder. But in terms of the actual configuration data that's listed over there in the GroupWise VC folder. So if you delete that first, uninstall the application, and then reinstall it, everything should be fine. But once again, we are here to assist if you need us. Just in terms of the roadmap, obviously we're currently in version 1.5.1, so I'm not going to cover any of that. But just briefly, a few things I wanted to highlight in the roadmap. The new version 2.0 that's coming out, there's a very cool user interface refresh. And also another common request that we've had is the MSI installer, which has now also been included in version 2. There's auto updates and notifications that have now become available. There'll also be a roadmap update at that point in time. So this is going to also change slightly moving forward. But for this point in time, as it stands, this is what we have. Moving forward into next year, I think one of the most important features that we're going to have over there is obviously the inclusion of additional video conferencing platforms such as Google Meet, 3CX, and potentially some others, okay? Also, very importantly, is we are trying to ensure that we can get this to work with the GroupWise webmail instead of only being available at the moment, which it is on the GroupWise Windows-based client. However, we are fully reliant on the availability of the API from OpenText in order to conclude that development. So please bear that in mind, but that is on the roadmap. And then moving forward into late next year, I think the major feature that we want to have included by that time, okay, and these dates obviously aren't fixed, they might move around, is of course the mobile app. All right, so that's quite a nice enhancement that we're looking at in the future. Now, for the big announcement, get meeting for GroupWise. Okay, so I'm sure you all know what Calendly is, right? Quite a cool feature, you know, when you get that invite through a Gmail calendar, and you can go in and you can have a look at the person's available time slots, and you can go and choose a meeting time slot, and then it's sort of automatically scheduled. So we intend doing the same for GroupWise. However, bear in mind, this is going to be a separate technology. It's not going to be built into the a GroupWise video conferencing app, but it will be integrated, okay, in the same way. So you can include that in all of your video conferencing meetings via the GroupWise video conferencing technology. So there's going to be integration over there. We're still in very early stages of development. We intend to have this available both on-premise and as a cloud option, and beta testing should begin, if all goes well, around the end of the first quarter next year. So very, very exciting announcement over there. From a licensing model perspective, quite simply, there's two different options that you have. And bear in mind, we don't offer any perpetual licensing. It's only subscription-based licensing. The one is you can either license all of your GroupWise mailboxes based on the Windows client count at the moment, because obviously it's not operational for the webmail, in which case there's a fee for that, which is a much lower fee, or you can elect to only license it for a certain select number of your GroupWise mailboxes. So if you have 1,000 mailboxes and you only want to provide access to 300 or 250, you can opt for that subscription model. Okay, and then of course we also offer additional discounts and licensing models around site licensing, volume, education, very, very highly discounted for education, and of course multi-year discounts, which is generally available via our distributors and partners. And we can give you a list of them. We can chat about it afterwards, or you can just come and join us in our booth. We can have a separate session. I'm not going to run through all of this. However, when you want to request an evaluation, quite simply, you can just go to our website, you can click on company, and then that will be a URL saying request free trial. And you can go and just populate all your information on that form. From there on, everything is automated. We will receive that request. We will send an email to you stating that we've received the request. We will then provision yourselves onto our portal, onto our admin portal. Once that's done, you'll get another notification informing you that you've been provisioned. And all of the steps that I've provided you with over here, but in far more detail, will be given to you in that communication, okay? And that is really the instructions that you need to follow in order to download the latest version of the software, install it, etc. We'll explain to you step by step. There's very comprehensive documentation once you've been given access to that portal of exactly how to go and install it. Sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, down to whatever number guide. Very, very neatly and nicely laid out. Once again, if you have any issues, you're welcome to email us and we'll help you and facilitate the process, support@netcb.com. And then for any support and enhancement requests, and by the way, this is not restricted to only licensed customers. Even if you're only doing an evaluation and you haven't actually bought the technology yet, you're also welcome to email us at support@netcb.com for any help, or visit our help desk site. Or if there are any particular enhancements requests, the email address is gwvc-enhancements@netcb.com. And that will be forwarded generally directly to Bongani and his team, as he is our Director of Research, Engineering and Development. So, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to hand over to Bongani now for all the juicy bits. Bongani, please take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot, Justin, for the thorough presentation. So let's dive in. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Bongani.
Okay, great. So as you can see, this is our welcome screen that you will encounter upon installing and launching the application for the first time. And you have the option here at the bottom to basically choose whether you will want to display it every time the application is launched. So on the welcome page, we also see that you will have a nice view of your enabled or integrated platforms, VC platforms, like Jitsi, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and then there is a tick under each of these platforms to indicate whether this VC is enabled in your organization. So the one that is not enabled at the moment for ours, I think, and for everyone else, is the Google Meet, because we are still under verification on that one, and we anticipate a resolution around that on the next release, which is later this week. So as you begin to use the system, just to click on that start using video conferencing, you will notice that you will immediately be introduced or be presented by a dashboard. And you can effortlessly navigate through these dashboards for the enabled VC. So with these dashboards, you can either launch the meeting from the dashboard or delete the meeting from the dashboard. But one thing to note about the delete function here on the dashboard is that it does not necessarily delete the appointments or the event in your GroupWise calendar. It just deletes it from this dashboard. So just note that. And then obviously the reuse button. There are sometimes instances whereby users want to create a generic room that they can use every time or in the future. So this dashboard will allow that. So we have a reuse button there that you can use. So just quickly, let me demonstrate on how we actually schedule a meeting. We'll start with Teams. So with Teams, you will be presented by an authentication window, but in my case, I'm already authenticated, so it's easy to use. So I can just choose a team that I want to create an event under, and then I can say net.Share event, and then obviously you adjust some of the attributes that are presented to you on the screen, the date, the time, the duration of that event, and the time zone. Obviously, we work on different time zone. So my time zone it's Pretoria. So I will just click on proceed, and then it will load. And immediately after loading that, it will present you with this pre-populated window with all the fields. I think most of them are populated with the information taken from the previous screen. The event subject, the place, the date, and the time, the duration, and so on and so on. And also, it will automatically insert the details of that appointment within the body of that message. And you can feel free to edit this, add some text if you want to. It's not a problem. It allows that. And you can also add attachments to that appointment. Attachment will be presented at the bottom here. There is an attachment panel there. I can quickly attach one. Can attach this image, and you can see screenshot number 30 there. I've attached, and after I've confirmed that everything is correct, you can proceed to schedule the meeting. And then after it's done, it will present you that it was successfully scheduled. And then if you go to your GroupWise calendar, you will notice that the appointment is created. Let me go to my calendar and then a day for today. So this is the event that I just created now. And if you open that event or that appointment, let me quickly, it's loading. So this is the appointment that I just created, and I sent it to myself. So you can see the attachment is there, the appointment details is there. So with that, you can see that it simplifies the process of you needing to go to different platforms just to create meetings within GroupWise. So we managed to centralize this to a single platform. Same applies to if you want to create a meeting with Jitsi. Jitsi does not necessarily have an API. You just create a room, and then the information is basically stored in a local system. And then we encrypt that information. So everything that, all the configurations that are stored in your local machine are encrypted. So it's an end-to-end encryption. And then for Jitsi, I can just simply reuse, and then you will see that that's my room there. I can provide a subject and then change some parameters if I want to do a busy search. The busy search function will basically search on the people that you've stated on the CC, BC, and the to field. These are the available time slot that I have for today, and so on and so on. And then after you've satisfied that, you can also proceed to schedule that meeting. And then you can just lastly, because I see that I have time that is running out. Okay, after authenticating, this is the GoTo Meeting platform. So again here, you can simply provide the test subject. And then obviously, if you want to generate a secure password, you have this option here that we've integrated to generate a password for you. And if you click that, it will pre-populate that in that field, and then you can proceed as well. And then you will see that everything is inserted there. And then obviously, if you want to again adjust some parameters, you're more than welcome to do that. Add some text on the body of the appointment or add attachments, you're more than welcome to do that. And then same applies to WebEx. WebEx does the same thing. You just provide the meeting subject or meeting title. And then obviously you need to select your time zone there. In Africa, I'll select this one. Then I click on proceed. Again, it will do the same thing. It will populate the meeting body. You see everything that is there, the meeting details, and then the time, the start time, and so on and so on. And you can add people here. So this function will basically search on your GroupWise contacts to get these accounts. For instance, Cobas, I can add Cobas to my recipient list, and so on and so on. And then another thing that I would like to show you guys is the settings part. So because this is managed by organization, you're not allowed to change any tokens that are configured for your organization. Only the organization administrators can manage that. But you can also change the language. You can change the language here. Let me quickly change it to German. And then you will be presented by a pop-up screen that will just to notify you that it will restart your add-on just to refresh the views. And then let's quickly wait for that. And then the screen comes back again. But you'll notice that now everything has changed to a German language. Even the welcome page is changed to German. So that's the nice thing about that, because that was one of the most also requested feature. I'll just change it back to English. So at the moment, I think we support about 13 languages, and also let me go back there. Just want to quickly show you, and also this view there. We can also change the language as well. If you find that now, okay, it seems like I've disabled that, but that's fine because everything is included as well on the upcoming release, which is version 2.0. So just let me, before my time's run out, let me quickly present to you our latest or the next release, which is version 2.0. I don't know if there are any questions so far. You are more than welcome to ask any questions, and then I will make sure that I answer your questions wherever possible. So just to give you a highlight or an overview of what we expect, what can you expect on the next release. So we have this refreshed UI. So on this one, we've decided to actually integrate the whole GroupWise calendar into this platform. So now it no longer read only your events from the platform itself, but it reads your calendar from GroupWise, because everything that we schedule goes into the GroupWise calendar. So everything that you schedule here will be presented here on this calendar. So the nice thing about this refresh is that it is easy to see your upcoming meetings. When does it will be held, and where, and so on and so on. And you can adjust the parameters accordingly. And immediately when you click on a dialog presenting you with the appointment information that you can easily again start from here. Just click on the join to join if it's a Teams, and if it's another platform, again you can click to present you with the screen. And also the calendar obviously it has the capability of adjusting the views, whether you want to view a weekly or a day view or a list. So even if you view it as a list, okay, I don't have any appointments there. Even if you want to view it as a list, you will see all your appointments, and you can even click as well here to easily present the information that is necessary for you to start the meeting. And then another thing that we've managed to actually enhance, or some new enhancement, is the windows, the loading spinner. If you check on the back here, it says authenticating. So now every time there is a process that is happening in the background, at least you will have a context of what is it that is happening, whether it's authenticating or retrieving information, and so on and so on. It will give you that idea rather than a generic loading a spin out, which you sometimes will not have any idea what is it that is actually doing. So now you know that it's authenticating, so it's waiting for me to authenticate. I'll select my account, and then it will authenticate me to the system. Then from here, I can easily, again, schedule a meeting, provide the details of that meeting, or if you want to create a new room or a new tool or a new team within Microsoft Teams, I just want to quickly create a new meeting. New meeting test, and obviously selecting the date. 30 minutes, that will be fine. And then click proceed. You see, now it's loading. It's loading, it's creating the appointments information, and you immediately see that your information is also pre-populated on the fields. And the nice thing about this view now is that every time when you type on something, let's say not that one, I don't have any suggestions, but you will see that we've also included the profile pictures and the name instead of a generic email. So at least you will know, just like how it operates in GroupWise. You will see the email address of that individual that you are including there. I don't have any suggestion. I don't have anyone. Gama, that's my profile picture there, and so on and so on. And then from here, you can also proceed to schedule the meeting, attach some attachments if needed. And then obviously I won't do that now because I've already created so many meetings on my calendar. And then just going back to Teams just to verify if I have anything left. Now I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Are there any questions so far? I'm running out of time. If there are any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. So this release will be available during the course of the week, and everyone who's subscribed will get a notification that this is out, and they can go to the administration portal where they can download and install the application, whether they install it via a Liquid to distribute to or do a mass deployment. They are more than welcome. As Justin also mentioned, that we support the MSI install. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate and looking forward to seeing your emails, requests for trial, and so on and so on. So, yeah, you are more than welcome to ask me any question anytime after this event. You can even send me a private email. I'll be more than happy to answer that. Thank you.